Hello, everyone. Yes, we're
Hello.
excited to be
Hello.
here. Woo! You guys have no idea why we're excited, right? This
We are
has
excited.
been, something that's been on our minds.
Yeah,
And it's really early. It's 5
very
a.m. in the
early.
morning
Yeah,
in Nigeria and in Cameroon.
yeah,
And because that's the only time they can work for us and the team, knowing that we are spread across like West Africa, East Africa, and a couple of other African countries. So we had to find a time that worked for everybody. So 5 a.m. was it for Nigerian time and Cameroon time. So
yeah.
yes, here we are. But yes, we've got to do what we've got to do. All right. So welcome, welcome, welcome to the Breaking Barriers podcast, brought to you by the Hasi Resilience team. Woo! Yes, and proudly supported by the Alliance for Women and Girls. And we are so excited to be doing this. So
Yeah, we are.
basically, our job here is very simple. We're supposed to be talking about our resilience story
Yeah.
and those moments where we thought that we were going to give up, but we never did. So I'm going to, be moderating this session, and I have an amazing guest with me. Well, we are guests together. We are co-hosts together.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and she's going to be introducing herself, and then we'll start with her own resilience story, and then we move from there. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. Like Agnes have said, we have been looking forward for this, so it's finally here. So I am Sengemboge Sumbede. I'm from Cameroon and the founder of Grassroots Women Initiative. So we are here to share our stories of resilience because we know there's no great story without setbacks. So I'm here to tell you about my story of not giving up. Okay, I'll make it short. I have so many stories, but I would choose one that really was so touching for me. So why in the university I always wanted to make a difference in my community because I grew up in a community that women have been marginalized for long. So I grew up with a mindset of making a difference. I want to be different and I want to fight for girls in my community. I want to empower girls. So while in the university, I already had that mindset. I already knew what I wanted. And I had to look for a group of friends who were like sharing the passion with me, or we have the same kind of mindset. I had a few of them, three of them. So after our degree, we decided to create an organization to empower girls with a name Move with Women. But along the line, we all had different aspirations because we were not making money with the organization and we needed to eat. We had things to take care of, we had bills to pay. And among the group, other people, some of them were like, no, Senge, this is a very good initiative. This is something that we can help others, but we need to help ourselves. We need to make money for ourselves in order for us to be able to take care of the organization. So I don't think I'll be able to do this right now. And they quit. They just gave up somewhere out of the country while others were in the country. So I was like, how am I going to follow this dream if those around me, those I thought they could help me push the dreams, are not willing to work? So I felt so frustrated and I was like, I don't know what to do. I was just confused, but I had to follow my dreams. I That was in 2018 and I stopped. I just went to some organizations to volunteer. I was working there as a volunteer, and while working there as a volunteer, my passion grew and I was like, it's like the organization ignited my passion to pursue my dreams. And later on in 2021, I came up with another new name like Grassroots Women Initiative. From moving with women to Grassroots Women Initiative, I was like, this is what I want to do, and I cannot allow certain things to stop my dreams. I have to pursue my dreams by myself. Let me try it, and if I fail, I fail. So in 2021, I came up with Grassroots Women Initiative, but it was not yet registered. It was just a name. It was just there. I was attending seminars, conferences, capacity building trainings, and with the name Grassroots Women Initiative, but I was afraid to put it out there because I didn't know how people are going to receive it. I didn't have a Facebook page with that name, nothing. It was just in my head. I know that I have an organization called Grassroots Women Initiative, but let me just be gaining my skills, and when I'm ready, I'll put it out there. And in 2022, with all confidence, I came out with Grassroots Women Initiative. I contacted my mentor and I told him, "Sir, I am ready. I want to create an organization." And he said, "If you are ready, go for it." I came out with Grassroots Women Initiative. And the first thing we did, our first activities we carried out in Grassroots Women Initiative was a back to school campaign. Because our organization is there to empower women and young girls through education. We advocate for mental health, sexual and reproductive health, right? So we came out with a campaign of back to school to sponsor school children with school books, like school essentials, school materials. So we had a plan of reaching out to 100 young girls in my community. And at that time till now, Southern Cameroon is being affected by the socio-political conflict. So we have so many out of school children, many internally displaced children. They are out there on the street. So I had to choose a particular community to carry out our back to school campaign. So after a need assessment, we realized that we had more than 100 children, and we didn't know how to do, because we had materials just for 100 kids, and I couldn't just do for 100 and I leave the rest. So I went back home, reached out to a few family members, a few friends, and they could raise. Some donated money, some donated books, bags, pens, and we were able to reach out to 300 children. 300, both boys and girls. At that moment, we could not even select. We just have to give everybody that was in need of books. That was the first ever project we carried out at Grassroots Women Initiative, and I was so happy that I didn't give up. And I was able to pursue my dreams. I was able to carry out the activities I wanted to carry out. I was able to empower young girls in my community through my back to school campaign under Grassroots Women Initiative, an organization that I've been pondering if I should go ahead with it or not. So that's my resilience story. I didn't give up, and I chose not to give up because I knew what I wanted. So I did what I did, and today we have Grassroots Women Initiative, and that is not the only back to school campaign we have done. We have carried out a back to school campaign. We still did last year, and it was more than the number of children we took last year. So we are growing, and we are here. We are not stopping. We are here to empower women in my community through education, health, and we are here to stay. Thank you so much for your time.
Yay! I'm so excited. What a resilient story. I mean, not giving up, not giving up,
Yeah.
not giving up. You might even lose companions, people who started off with you,
Of
but
and
you just
now
have to keep going.
And now my friends are reaching out to me and I'm like saying, "What happened? How did you do it?" I said,
Exactly.
"I followed my dreams." And now some of them want to come back, but I'm like, I'm not seeing it as passion. I'm sorry to say, I'm not seeing it as passion, but they just want to come. I don't know, but I'm not ready for that because I don't want distractions for now. Let me just go with my plans, and how it flows, it flows.
Yes, I get that. I get that. Wow, wow, wow. Well done. Well done. So much work,
Thank you.
so much. I could just feel the energy. in your
Thank you.
voice,
Thank you.
and it's been a journey. I can see that, I can feel that,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just really praying that, you get the needed recognition and the needed support, to ensure that you're able to impact more lives with this initiative. Because I believe that whatever it is that we are doing, it's not the job of one person. We need like collective action. We need to put our hands together, for
Yeah.
us to solve these problems. Because there's no one size fit all solution. We need
Yeah.
solutions from different angles for us to really solve the problem
The problem.
holistically.
Yeah.
So yeah. So okay, so back to me.
Yeah, it's your turn.
um yes, my turn.
Yeah.
So at the time when we started, it was a hassle because we realized that as a public school teacher, I realized that my kids were showing up to school hungry. And then over time, because I started doing feeding program, started feeding them with my salary, and all that. But over time, I realized that the real problem was not, that hunger thing. The real root cause was the fact that most of the children were being raised by single moms, who didn't have education, they didn't have any skill, to just train their kids. So they were doing the most really, but they were just not positioned, they were not equipped,
Yeah.
to do that efficiently. Hence, their children were showing up to my class hungry. So to really solve the root cause of the problem, I had to find a way to empower these women, because I know that a mom would rather be hungry than have a child, go anywhere hungry or not
Hungry.
have the basics of life exactly. So the best bet was for me to see how to solve the problem from the root cause. And at that time, I had my fellow colleagues, because you do research, you ask questions and all that. When we were doing that, I realized that a lot of people were telling me, well, don't bother yourself. These people are like that, or this has always been the problem. Why are you bothering? Why would you, in fact, why would you even start feeding the children with your own money? This, is their parents' fault. Why would they even give birth when they know they cannot take care of the children? It's the government's fault. Why would the government, not do school feeding programs that would be sustainable? It started and it failed, all those kind of things. I was just hearing blame games all around. And for me, I was asking myself questions like, what can I do? I understand that maybe some people have failed, some people did not step up, and all that. But I was asking myself, what can I do? So that was when I was like, what? I'm just going to do my little bit, and I decided to carry the idea of this women empowerment program on my head. And I reached out to a few people. A lot of people turned us down. A lot of people that we reached out to said no, they don't want to have anything to do with this. And there are people who have come before, and they just disappeared, or they didn't reach out, they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So there was this particular organization that we reached out to that was, we knew that could really help us, because it was basically what they were doing. They were into empowerment as well. So we
Yeah.
wanted to partner with them to see how it would be a little easier. But with their experience and their exposure and the facility that they had, I saw myself speaking all the speaking all the English I could, but we were scoring good points. But this man won't budge. Like, he was like, nah, he's about the money. How
Yeah.
much can we get for him for his organization? And I went on, I even started coming up with ideas for us to even make money, some kind of cuts for them. But the man was really about making huge sums and bringing in all the profits. And that was not basically what our ideology was around him. So we had to give it we had to just let it be. So after a while, I called my team. I told my team, because I had to get a team. I gathered a few of my friends who were excited about that kind of idea, and the just the goal that we're trying to achieve, because a lot of them were teachers like me, and they were having the same issue with their schools, in their schools as well. So it's like, you're having this issue, let's team up now because you're also facing this issue as well. Let's team up and see how we can make this thing work, right? So next thing, I got them. I told them that see, if we're not able to get funding, we're not able to get artisans who can work with us or anything because we reached out to artisans. Artisans were giving us big bills. You know, they were expecting for some reason they just assumed that we had huge, uh, um, um, huge bags of money coming, and they were looking for how to bill us. Just bill us to just collect the monies that we had. And we had to start telling them things like, this is something we want to do. We don't even know where the money is going to come from, but we know that we're going to achieve this goal. But not everybody was seeing what we're seeing. So the artisans that we reached out to, a lot of them were billing us a lot of money that we didn't know where we were going to get the money from. The organizations we're reaching out to did not want to partner with us because they felt that they were not going to make profit from it. Some of NGOs, some organizations that we emailed did not respond to us. So we were at the point where we didn't know what to do. So one thing that we did was I reached out to my team. I told my team, you know what? If we are not able to get people who will join hands with us, we're going to put our resources together and see how we can start to make a move. Because I understand that people are most likely to jump on a train that's already moving
Moving.
rather than rather than something that is still in your head. So we're going to put our resources together, no matter how small we have. We'll put it together and see how we can launch something. Let's just start like a pilot project. So we came together, we built ourselves, we told ourselves that we're going to pay 10,000 naira, and the 10,000 naira that we decided that we're going to do, we said we give ourselves a long period of time. And we said that anytime when you have maybe 1,000 naira, you can send it. If you have 2,000 naira, you can send it right until you finish your 10,000 naira, mark. So that's how we're doing. So anybody who had a little, fund, we just send it to the account. And so that's how we started. Yes. So when we did that, we came up with, after a while, everybody was able to, not everybody met up with the timing, but it was okay because majority of us did. So we're able to put that money together and we planned a miniature project, a smaller aspect of the project that we were planning. So we planned something small. We went to a particular district in our state, and then we, planned, organized everything, came up with a budget to fit what we already had. So we went there and we trained the women. But the training that we did not come with sewing machines that we expected to give because that was the big picture. So we just did the training, but we didn't do the giving of the tools. So that's how we started. We did that one. We went on social media, we publicized, we were just shouting, we did this, we started. But we know that it was just an internally organized project, and we're really hoping that we will get the opportunity to show the world that our idea was a real idea and sustainable idea if we're able to come up with the tools, because we knew that most of the skill acquisition program going on had a lot of skill acquisition but no tools. So people go back to like square one. So we understood that and we've already done our research. So that's how we continued, just pushing. We almost really gave up, to be honest. At some point I told myself that, you know what, this small one you've done is enough.
It's enough.
You know,
Yeah.
it's enough. Let me just leave it like that. Maybe that's the way it should be. But one thing we did not stop doing was putting our work outside. We continue putting it on social media. We continue doing that, and hmm, finally, an organization reached out to us on LinkedIn. Agape Life Project reached out to us on LinkedIn to say, "Oh, I think I really like the idea of this project. Reach out to us on so and so email, and we'll pick it up from there." I was so excited. My team, I had to tell my team, it's like, guys, look at this. I don't even care if they decide to just fund a little bit. But just the fact that we have external funding for me, that somebody else felt saw our work and then decided to part ways with their own funds to ensure that we make this project come alive was just amazing to me. So we reached out via email, went through a few processes, back and forth like that. And then after a while, we got credited, and that was when we were able to get our first set of sewing machines. So we didn't just do skill acquisition. Our women went home with brand new with sewing machines, and then for me it was that day I slept so well. I was sleeping with a smile on my face. I felt so
Wow.
excited. Like it was just on different levels. It was very fulfilling on different levels. Even just seeing the smile on the women, knowing that we did not tell them, it was like a surprise.
Yeah.
We didn't tell them that they were
Yeah.
going to get sewing machines. So after they were done doing everything, we called them, and then our sponsor not even sent somebody as a representative. That person came with envelopes of money and he gave it to the beneficiaries. And we did not even know that the sponsor was going to do that. And I felt so excited. So they came and then they announced that they were going to be also giving the beneficiaries, the women getting the sewing machines will also get money as well. So for me, I was like, oh my God. The women were so excited. They did not see it coming, So for me, that's that story. Most times when I look back at it, I'm like, nah, if we could go through this, we could come out strong. There's nothing I cannot start, and there's nothing that I have as an idea that I cannot make come alive, with the help of God and people and support and all that. So yeah, that's my own resilient story, and I'm really excited about it.
Very, very interesting story. So inspiring,
Yeah.
and you did it. Like you did it. Well, I'm so happy
Yes,
to hear.
so
Amazing to see how we didn't give up at the end of the day, and we are here. That brought us to this place, to Healthy 2024. So it's really an amazing journey, and I think it's something to be proud of. It's something to be
mhm,
excited about. Yeah.
yeah.
Guinness, that was a very good story.
Oh, thank you so much.